Welcome to the final step of the Internet Safe Family Kit. This is Catherine with SafeTechie.com, and we're going to be discussing Step 6, Maintaining Open Communication. So when discussing family communication, there are two guidelines that I've provided for you. One, offering some discussion topics on those 5 dangers that we talked about in Step 1, as well as a family checklist, so the things that you can be doing every year, month, week, and day to ensure long-term family safety. So breaking down those discussion topics, we hit on the same 5 risks that we talked about in Step 1 with those dangers of the internet. And so talking about pornography and adult websites, there's a couple of things that you can discuss with your children. And as I mentioned, once a year, I recommend doing this. So talk to them about what are they seeing online, and if they do see something inappropriate, that they can talk to a trusted adult about that content and what they're seeing. Also, ensure that they're doing searches safely. So talk to them about what type of words are they using when they're searching out content. Use the phrase, think before you link. So when you're about to click on a link, think about what material or content is actually in that link when you click on it. And then lastly, discuss with them some dangers of these pornographic or adult websites, particularly when they might not be mature enough to handle the content. Next, discuss with them the topics of online predators. So make sure that they understand the dangers of face-to-face contact. When you're talking with someone online, the person you're talking to might not be who they actually say or do what they actually say they do, and that they could be impersonating somebody else. And ask your child questions. Ask them about their friends online and what type of things that they do online. Next, discuss with them social networking. Make sure that they understand that social networking, such as Facebook and Twitter, gives them access to everybody in the world. So be careful who you talk with and make sure that they aren't talking with strangers. Also, don't send things to strangers. So if they see, this kind of relates to having a public versus a private profile, or just directly sending things. If someone sends them a message saying, hey, what's your phone number? I'm such and such. Make sure that they're not sending their information to people like that. And help them understand that private is not always private. Even if you change your settings on your Facebook profile to make sure that they're private, someone could still hack into it. Someone could still get your information, and the information can be used against them. If they're posting a picture and they're sending it to a friend that they think is private, that information, even if it's deleted by their friend, will always be online. And put a strong emphasis on personal information. Again, going back to before, private isn't always private. So if they're putting their personal information on there, encourage them to post the information after they do something. So if they're going to go to the movies with friends, post about that after they get back from the movies. Or if they're going to go on a trip, the same thing. Don't post about a thing that you're going to do in the future, and don't post about something you're actively doing, because it allows them to be at risk for people that see that information. Discuss with them the types of social networks that are out there, some of the dangers that might be more prevalent to some than others, such as Snapchat and thinking that something went away after 10 seconds when really it didn't. Next, discuss with them about cyberbullying. On the bullying side, talk with your child about not doing anything online that you wouldn't do in person. If you wouldn't say something or be mean to someone or exclude somebody in real life from a group, don't exclude somebody from messages and group messages and things like that. Don't tease and bully. And then on the other side of that, ask them questions about if they're being bullied. If you feel like you're seeing messages and trends, help them feel comfortable discussing what they're going through, and listen to them and see what they have to say and what their concerns are. And then lastly, games and apps. And so now that they understand some of the risks of the internet and the risks of those games and apps, talk to them about playing good games and good fun. So what type of games are they playing, and who are they playing with? Are they playing with people that they know? Talk to them about self-monitoring the time that they're spending on a game. So instead of you setting rules and saying this is how much you can spend, encourage them to monitor their own time that they're playing with games or screen time in general. And then with that, you can set screen time limits. So focus, instead of just don't watch TV or do watch TV this amount of time, in general, all screens, so computers, iPads, iPhones, and TVs, how much time is appropriate to play games versus doing homework and work. And then lastly, the online gambling and spending. So if they're using or have access to your credit card or maybe their own money, how are they spending that money with either games or potential gambling and spending online? The next guideline we have for you is the Safe Tech Check. And what this is you can print it out and it allows you to see easily 2 things that you should be doing at 4 different times of year. So you have 2 things: yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily. So then some things to consider with yearly. Meet with your child individually and evaluate their needs that they have. Are they changing as they get older? And then evaluate their media contract based on what you think they need. Every month, talk with your children about what questions they may have. Ask them questions and offer them to ask you questions. Ask about the content that they're visiting as well and what they're seeing online and if they have any concerns. Every week, go online and review their viewing history. You can check their monitoring and what blocks have come up, as well as monitoring the time that they're spending online and what they're spending their time doing. And then lastly, every day, be an example of the appropriate use of the internet and let your children see how you use the internet for good. Then, every day as you're maintaining communication in your home, create a positive home atmosphere where your children feel comfortable talking with you and you can discuss the topics that you need to with your family. Now that you've come to the last step of the Internet Safe Family Kit, you've sufficiently taken action of keeping your family safe online. You understand the risks of the internet, you've begun the conversation, and you've protected your family's internet access, and now you're on the ongoing step of maintaining open communication, allowing you to be one step closer to safer technologies, smarter kids, and stronger families.